The Google Pixel 6a is now available for pre-order. Link will be in the description. $449. It releases next week. We knew the price, we knew the spec. I'm doing a video because I was a little disappointed with the initial coverage of the 6a, kind of the initial reviews that you saw today from all the heavy hitters, all the usual suspects, names of people who do reviews, because I don't think they understood the philosophy and kind of the angle that the device is going for, because there's two mindsets when it comes to these devices in this $450, $500 range. Samsung gave you theirs with the A53 5G. They said, we're going to give you the best possible screen we can, a beautiful OLED panel, 120 hertz refresh rate. We're going to give you a nice build quality. It's really kind of near flagship level build quality without the glass and stuff, but I love the design, the unibody design. We're going to give you a good camera. But under the hood, no one's going to confuse the Exynos 1280 with a flagship level chip and flagship level performance. So that's where it falls short. Google, on the other hand, is saying, we're going to give you that flagship level performance. We're going to put our best chip in it. We're going to give you a reliable ecosystem with the Pixel experience. We're going to give you a phenomenal camera. And we're going to give you fantastic support in a slightly older body. Really not. They've only used it for the past year, but a design that they've used before. And stop me if you've heard that one before, right? Because that's the Apple philosophy with the iPhone SE. Now, I understand that design that Apple uses is significantly older than the one that the Google Pixel is using, but that's the same idea, right? We're going to give you our best chip. We're going to give you the best possible experience and power and snappiness that we can. And we're going to dock you on the build and the screen. We're going to give you a good camera. We're going to give you nice, reliable support. We're going to give you years of support on the back end with the device. We're going to give you the best possible OS and user experience. We're going to give you great app experience, but you got to deal with a couple other deficiencies in some other areas. To me, that's a personal choice. I want the performance. I want to be able to pick up my phone and know it's going to do everything that I need it to do when I need it to do it. Is it Tensor overkill? Perhaps at $450, maybe, but that Exynos and some of the other things they put in these budget devices certainly isn't having it. And I don't want that to discourage people from buying a Pixel 6a if you're waiting on it just because the reviews haven't been fantastic. We're going to have one next week here. I got the Sage color, which I wish they had started to gone back in the right direction with the orange. I was excited. I thought maybe we'd come out with something fun for the 6a, but they're like, hey, that olive drab from a couple years ago on the 5 that nobody cared about? Yeah, we're bringing that back. They call it Sage all they want, but whatever. The other thing is, though, is this. I told people to avoid and pass on the Pixel 5a because you were dealing with a Snapdragon. It was basically a rebadged 4A 5G. The Tensor train was leaving the station. You were a couple months away from the Pixel 6, and that's really what they were going to be focusing on software-wise and kind of enhancement-wise from now on with all the computational photography stuff. Is going to be leaning towards Tensor. So I wanted you to kind of stay away from the Snapdragon ones if you could, especially if you're paying $450. Now you're paying the same amount, $450, but instead of a mid-tier Snapdragon 700 processor that they're not even really using anymore, now you're getting the A-grade Tensor chip with all the bells and whistles that come with that and all the pixel-friendly features that are going to be incorporated with that chip, including, first and foremost, all the camera benefits that you get with the Tensor chip. Magic Eraser, all the stuff that they do with the astrophotography, but just the stuff that they do with portrait mode and cleaning up the photos, just the regular photos of stuff that you take as it is. So it's a close call. I'm going to have them both here. I have the A53 already from Samsung. Not a huge fan of it, but I've got it. And we're going to have the Pixel 6a as well, and I'm going to compare it to the iPhone SE because it's going to come down to preference. What is the most important bit for you? Is it the display? Do you have to have 120 hertz no matter what? Then you want to spend your $400 with the Samsung device. Are you somebody that, listen, I just want the support, I want the performance, I know I'm going to get a nice, reliable, snappy device. That's going to be the Google Pixel. And of those philosophies between Apple and Google, Google certainly does have some advantages there. It's a much newer design. They're giving you a bigger device. It's a better display, so they don't nerf you as much on the display that the Apple device does. So that's something to think about. So of the three, Google might be striking the best balance in that $450 price range, where Samsung nerfs you, I think, a little bit too much on performance. Apple, I think, nerfs you a little bit too much as far as the design's concerned, giving you that kind of older build, even though I like that device a lot. You get a lot there for that $429. But Google might strike the perfect balance between those two. Good performance, really good performance. You're still going to have that support, 4 years of support, or whatever it happens to be, with a newish design, so you don't mind the OLED at 6.1 inches at 60 hertz as much. And that 60 hertz, 90 hertz, 120 hertz thing gets blown way out of proportion. I want to get my hands on the 6A, turn off animations, reduce animations, whatever it happens to be, and then see if it feels snappy then. And I think once you're in an app, you're not going to mind if it just feels a little sluggish, maybe opening up an app, if it gives you decent performance when the app is open, because that's already going to knock the pants off the Samsung Galaxy A53. I don't care how smooth it feels in the menus. I care how it performs when I'm actually doing stuff. Because Samsung, with the A53, sometimes that thing is buttery smooth in the menus with 120 hertz, but I don't care how the phone is in the locker room. I want to know how it performs out in the field. So that's something we're going to have to see with the Pixel 6a. So don't get discouraged. I told you to wait a year. Now I think now is the time. If you're somebody who's on that A cycle, if you loved what the original one provided, the Pixel 3a, if you're an A user, essentially, if you're someone who just wanted the camera, wanted the performance, wanted that clean version of Android, or at least the Pixel experience, even though it's not stock Android, you get the Pixel experience and kind of all those Google Pixel features. Well, now you're getting all of that you loved originally on the A line, especially if you're upgrading from a 3A, you're really going to notice it. But now you're getting much better performance. We've moved away from the 600 series Snapdragons and 700 series Snapdragons, and now we've moved into the flagship realm, giving you their very best performance, but keeping it at that $449 price range, which is good price point, which is fantastic, and I think offers a lot of benefits. So don't get discouraged. If you're somebody who, we're going to compare it to the 6 as well. I think if you can afford it, bump yourself up to the 6 or wait for that 7, especially if they keep it at the $599, because I think those benefits are certainly worth the $150. But if you're somebody who just wants those 4 years of support, you don't want to worry about it, you want a decent camera on a decent device, but you love Android, this is it. $449. We'll see it when it comes in. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Let me know what you think down below. Are you waiting for the 7? Is the 6A where you want to be? Are you upgrading from a 3A or maybe a 2, Pixel 2? You're upgrading from a 4A, and now you want what the Tensor provides. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.